All right, y'all. I can't help it. Y'all are gonna ruin my flow here in a second, but actually, you are. I am, of course, because this is just me talking to the plastic yet again. But I can't help it. I am. I'm up here a lot, but I'm down here a lot. Right? I just finished up. Finished. I'm in the middle of being in this glorious new chamber, this glorious new dungeon here that I have created for myself. Not much, as you can see, it's not very heavily filled. I don't know if you hear that on the other side of that wall. But yeah, that's another. You may have heard it. Little peckerwood, right? So I'm gonna get into this in a minute. Actually, over the next series of videos, I've got a lot happening up here. It almost seems like the more I'm in there, the more this thing actually gets going. But for good reason and good measure. As you can see, this is not what you guys may be used to seeing. I took a walk around video of this place already, but I had not moved in officially. So this is, yes, the very first video that you guys are seeing, the official move in of a house. Not my house, not necessarily my home, but someone I know has thrown out the opportunity of allowing me to stay here during the winter. It's November 3rd today, and I just obviously moved out of the cabin 5 days ago, 6, 7, right? Barely even a week. And I'm already settled in, guys. This is as glorious as it gets. I prayed maybe 2 nights ago that I had officially reached level contentment, right? I've unpacked, I've cleaned up, everything is organized, and I feel very content with it. Obviously, there's always growth. What they want to do with this house is turn it into an Airbnb for future living of other party members and whatnot. But until then, it's mine. So what I get to do is help renovate the place. Now, I'm not obviously knowledgeable when it comes to the water and the electricity slash heat, which was taken care of a day or two ago. We took care of the heat, so it is officially warm in here. The thermometer's reading 60. That's good enough for me. I'm exercising, so I'm already warm. But I like 55 to 65, depending on the time of day. Cold water is, or warm water is still an issue. We're working on that currently. But essentially, this will be my place for the next few months. And that would be the heater, something I have yet to share with the owners of the house. That sound you may have just heard. It happens often enough to raise suspicion, at least questioning what it possibly is, because they just fixed it. I didn't hear that happen before. Never mind that now. We're going to go on to, I'm going to show you guys this way, because I love this room, guys. This is my room. As you can see, I absolutely have decked this place out with everything that I own. This is my shrine of glory. As you can see, it's got everything from bottom to top that is so self-identifying to me as it is. I finally hooked up that beautiful fellow a few days ago, and it's, oh my God, its sound is so immaculate. My dad gave it to me a while ago, and I couldn't take it out in the cabin, obviously. And I've never used it on my own, like having nobody else around. Besides the cabin, it's been nearly a decade, right? I'm 35 now, and it's been nearly 10 years. So I was 25 when I hit up the Westbury Apartments. Not sure if any of you guys saw those videos. I don't even know if I posted those videos way back when. But 17th floor high rise was the high life of my life, but also one of the lowest times. Certainly not the lowest. I had maybe a couple roommates in and out of that place as I lived there. But that was one of the last places that I kind of had my own place to myself, my own, personal space, so to speak. And it's been a decade, like I mentioned. It feels good to be back, folks. It feels wonderful. Lots of changes, guys. I will tell you that right now. Biggest one. I'm just kidding, not biggest one, but one of the greatest ones. Look at where we're at with it. I just whipped up another batch while exercising. My current program now is roughly training all day. If I'm home, which it being November, I am in the middle of no jobs technically. So I don't know what I said in the last video concerning work, but I have recently lost a job due to what I consider, what I'm blaming on to be my prolonged use of drugs. Not that I was under the influence at the moment or at the time, but if anybody knows anything about, I don't want to say the drug life, but everything you intoxicate aside from natural, even natural things. So let's say you take in sugar, it takes time to process and break down sugar. Now, if you take a drug, say caffeine, it will not only, see, I'm a little bit on the fence of this. When we like to say caffeine gives us energy, it doesn't necessarily give us energy. It actually keeps us from getting tired. So I don't know exactly the numbers on this, but say you take 1 cup of coffee, 80 milligrams of caffeine, it'll last anywhere from 6 to 8 hours in your system. Whereas some folks say it gives them energy for 2 to 4 hours, right? 8 hours, no way, it's just 1 cup. That half cycle is a trigger in the brain that is you rise up. Let's say you're being given energy. I know I'm kind of, it's just I'm going off in my own little rant right now. But when you say, let's say you take in a substance that gives you energy, you go up with the energy and then you start to crash, right? They say you give it a crash. But on that crash, you're still on energy. It just doesn't feel as promising as when you're going upward with that energy, right? I know caffeine and how I explained caffeine was probably a bad example. But it's essentially the same thing. Let's see. So with drugs, I've always felt that there has been a half-life, even with certain things like cannabis, which a lot of people say there isn't a hangover, there isn't a half-life, there isn't anything bad about it at all. It's so good and it's so positively. Yeah, that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. And if you disagree, see ya. Same thing. It's all the same, folks. That's why you may hear me in some videos talk about fasting so much. Fasting is the baseline of getting everything out of your system and starting from ground zero. It's absolutely imperative. I did not fast. I did not fast during this change. I didn't fast, however, my relationship with God, Jesus, the higher power, there's a lot of names out there that we throw out. I'm gonna stick with God and Jesus, plain and simple. If that's too much for you, I don't know what to tell you. My relationship has absolutely been growing continuously. I'm getting involved with churches. I'm back into recovery programs. My relationships are growing. And I think being out in the woods definitely helped. So for the last 2 weeks, I think it was about 2 to 3 weeks of October, I decided to sober up. I sobered up the day after I got released from my butchery job, right? I was working at a butcher shop. I've been begging, right? If you know me, you know that it's probably one of those, it's one of those jobs that I've, let's say, always wanted to learn. It's just one of those skills that I've always been intrigued by, right? It's like hunting, right? But it's also in the kitchen, something I'm very familiar with. And I was so excited, right? So thrilled and so happy that I got it. However, I have been under the influence, so to speak, ever since maybe June or so. And it was on and off, it was here and there, and it became more progressively increased as time went on. Reason being, connection, lack of connection. If you've seen me in years past, in all my videos, you'll probably realize that I don't have many connections. I don't have many friends. I don't have many. I mean, I tell people that I get to know that my relationships are very tight. I'm very picky about who I surround myself with. And if I don't like you, I'm gone, right? I'm a very passive person under the influence, right? I don't like being aggressive, especially while intoxicated, because it just it's not good at all. Not that being aggressive is good at all. But when anyone is under the influence, your decision your decision process, you're making decisions is not good. Your decision making process is not good at all. Plain and simple. So instead of being aggressive, what we were looking for is assertiveness. Now, when I'm aggressive, it's towards myself. I don't want to unleash it on anyone. I know what it looks like, folks. You don't want me to be aggressive. Plain and simple. It's that simple. Nobody wants to be aggressive. Nobody likes to see over-aggression. I know what mine looks like. It's not good. It's not good at all. So I'll end up being passive. But other than that, sorry for the ums. I don't talk about this sort of stuff very often. But, so I became more passive under the influence, right? I would just kind of back away or shit things away. Nowadays, we are trying to open up to being a little more assertive in life and taking action where it is necessary. Yep, there it is again. So that was like 5 minutes. That was like, I don't think it's every 5 minutes, but it's often that sound. Where did I want to go with this? Sorry for the ums, folks. Just a gap filler. So, butchery job, under the influence. You guys know that I was looking for that sort of job. My connections are low, or they used to be low, because of low self-esteem, character traits that make me define myself to care what other people think, right? There's a word there. I don't know what it is, right? I also have a very poor vocabulary, apparently. But I care about what other people think. It's plain and simple. At least I used to. I'm definitely lowering that level quite a bit. But essentially, ever since I was a kid, right? I actually explained it to someone this morning that ever since I was put on, let's say, Adderall, Ritalin, right? When I was about 7 years old. Now, that's a very common time where that sort of mentality can start. It just happened to start when I was using prescription drugs. So at that young of an age, I started really putting a price on other people's right? Other people's opinions of me, other people's thoughts and how they viewed me, right? And it wasn't ever good, right? Ever since I started on prescription drugs, I was pretty much bullied. Plain and simple. It wasn't horrific, wasn't horrendous, but yeah, I was definitely ruled out. I was definitely singled out. Black sheep everywhere I went. So, la, 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 la. That's all over though. Plain and simple. Sober as a bird, and I love it. It is good. I don't always complete my sentences / topics when I chat, but it is way better than it used to be. So I'm more open. I'm connecting. I'm more honest. But I have a long way to go now. I was telling somebody this morning that my future is not looking easy. Not at all. I have definitely effed up my life for the past, not just obviously like 30 years, me being 35, but for the past 10 years, it's been purposefully raising the white flag. Plain and simple. I've risen the flag and given up completely. I've mentioned it to the good Lord and Savior that I just don't want it anymore. And I've tried my best to take myself out many times. But I'm also a baby. Right? Too big of a wuss, thank God. So, be that as it may, I have no idea where this is going. However, I'm certainly glad I've gotten this much out in this little amount of time. Usually my videos last a little longer. We've got some tree work to do later today. I've got to cut down a tree so we can have some firewood for the neighbor. There's so much to do. I wanted to catch you guys up. I know it's been a minute. I feel like I'm rambling on enough to where that has definitely been enough to fill you guys in. The protein bars are baller, guys. These have to be in stores. No, not stores. I'm sorry. These are going to become, plain and simple, these are absolutely phenomenal. And I use I want to show you guys. Yeah, I suppose I could. Hang tight. So there's maple yogurt that I will get from, here's the sponsorship. These guys, Brown Cow. They're not Greek and they're not grass-fed, I don't think. But I am sorry. The flavor is just too good. I chow down. I can't help it. Yeah, there's natural flavor in it and pectin. So, it's not perfect. My diet is not perfect yet by any stretch of the imagination. But those bars are just too good to, my God, they're amazing. I'll use those and these guys, right? So those little fellas, all it is sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, oats, flax seeds, pumpkin seed flour, pumpkin seeds, spelt bran, salt, vegetable fiber, potato, and psyllium husk. Psyllium, not psyllium husk. It's just a cracker. It's the healthiest cracker on the planet, in my opinion. I've never seen better. So yeah. That's dinner. Lunchtime is salad now, so goes the digestive system. I'm probably going to be doing wraps eventually. Exercising is phenomenal. It's an all-day process. I'd prefer to do little bits consistently rather than a 1 to 2 hour session, even though that's kind of what I do. It's just a much lighter, it's well-rounded, right? I'm just now getting back into a consistent program. I've been sober for almost a month, right? And for the past 2 weeks, aside from the moving and everything, I've been actively getting engaged with exercise and everything. Guess what I just found, by the way? In the trash, baby. Who throws this away? Who throws this away? Yeah, I did. In the trash can. Along with that whole box of goodies. Guys, I don't get you. I don't get life. I don't get America. I just don't. You're not going to find an argument as it being the best country in the world. But as far as the best standards, as far as like this isn't utopia. You know that, right? You all know there's not even no such thing as utopia, but we are. That's the thing. Like it's like comparing a number, an actual number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to infinity, right? It's just not. It's the word infinity is on a different. It's in a different book. It's in a different definition to itself, even though you can measure infinity with numbers, technically, right? In a way, I know there's a lot of gray area there, and some doctor genius scientist is gonna come out and blah blah blah. Anyway, where was I going with that? So yeah, where was I going with that? Yeah, waste, folks. Why are we so wasteful? I can build a country, and I have no doubt that I will build an entire city filled with nothing but your guys' waste. America, what have we done? 90% of the things that I own is waste. It's out of a trash can. It's out of a trash dump, folks. Everything. It's so sad. Maybe not 90. 75. Thankfully, my bed was built for me. But yeah. Trash. All right, I'm not going to end on trash. We got to find something else to do. These bars are baller. That's the third time in the same video. I have just added new butters because I live out in the middle of nowhere. The genius Amish have decided to take it upon themselves to take all of the so-called wasteful products that places like XYZ don't want to sell to the natural consumer, normal consumer, and they buy truckloads of leftover products, whether it be close to expiring, expired, dented food, dented products, anything of that nature, for a fraction. Hazelnut spread, $1. Almond butter spread, $2. Sun butter, double the size, $3. Tahini spread, $4. These are $7 to $9 products. Anywhere else you go. You ready for this one? $50 jug of maple syrup. $20. 25, I know. Yeah, half off, guys. And that's like, you go to, if this were sold in 8-ounce, let alone, like 8-ounce jugs, you could make $75 off of this. Guys, like, we're so wasteful. Hemp powder, $20. This is a $50 bag. It's a big ass bag, folks. Yeah, so I am absolutely on fire nowadays. I know I'm gonna be tripping. I know I'm gonna fall. I know something's gonna happen. I get it. I'm ready. I'm not ready. I'm never ready. But I expect it. I don't expect these feelings to last for very long. I know something's gonna happen. Something's gonna change. It just is the way it is. So I'm enjoying it while it lasts, and I'm getting myself prepared for whatever happens in the future. And I'm putting on the armor of God, baby. Woo! Battle up, folks. It is time to create an army of Jesus warriors. I could care less if you like or subscribe or follow or anything. I'm not here to create followers. I'm here to create leaders for God in Jesus. I'm starting to rule him in the vocabulary more now. One of the biggest changes that I've made. I know it doesn't sound like too big of a change, but to me it makes a big difference. And I hope I ruffle so many people's feathers on this one. Whether or not Jesus is God or Jesus is the Son of God. Some will say yes, some will say no, some will say both. Don't worry, we'll get into it. We'll get into all that nitty gritty. I ain't gonna tell you what I think now, because I know what I do believe now, but it's still undefined. So if I tell you what I believe, then it's just gonna be, it's not gonna be the full. It's not gonna be the full belief. Like if I were to say Jesus is God. There's more to it, right? Or Jesus is the Son of God. There's more to it. There's just a little bit more to it. But I don't want to get into that right now. That's for another date. I am not here to preach. I'm here to teach, and educate, and inform, and hopefully entertain at best. Because I know that's all this is. I'm not here to teach. I teach. I can't teach anything. I ain't got nothing. Maybe how to make this wonderful concoction, but that's about it. Have a blessed day. Live expressively through Jesus Christ.